Why? Where do you have to go?
I want to like unwind.
Bro, this is how we unwind. It's Thursday evening.
No, this stuff stresses me out.
This stresses you out?
No, it doesn't stress me out. I'm okay. I just it doesn't stress me out. I just tired of talking. That's the thing, or listening. Maybe that's what
you talk all day long, huh?
Yeah.
Dang.
And I'm like yelling in people's ears
as they're passing. Get saved.
Just say, "King Jesus is my king." Say it. Say it.
Yeah. Jeez, man, that's rough.
No, it's good, dude. It's cool. I love it. I love doing it. It's great.
How wild is it that your job is to tell people about Jesus before they die?
Dude, I didn't even know this was a job. Like, I didn't know it existed. And I mean, I knew people did it, but I didn't know like they actually got paid to do this. It's weird that this is what you've known me for how long? Like, all the stuff I did in my life, right? Like it's weird, right? That I'm doing this. I think it's weird for everybody who knows me. Still weird for me, to be honest. I still wake up sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, actually, that's what I do. I'm a chaplain. So yeah, it's great though. I love it. And
do you think it was weird for people like when we were doing the last hang? Do you think it was weird for people that saw Paul after killing Christians for him to be like telling people about Jesus? I bet you that was weird.
That's got to be so wild, man. Like, just people were literally scared of him. I mean, they were like, even just to meet the apostles, they were like, they didn't go like right away. Like, hey, they're like, hey, this guy, he usually, or this is what he did previously, and he wants to come meet with you guys because he says Jesus showed up. I mean, what are the chances of that, right? Like, that's the perfect plan to like go and destroy them if he wanted to.
Yeah, dude, that would be so shady.
Yeah, right.
But perfect.
But perfect. It would have been and they
definitely a tactic one of these would use.
Definitely. That's where I learned from.
Definitely. Bro, to infiltrate, adopt the theology, infiltrate, destroy.
Yeah.
And then bounce.
I think that there's people that say that about Paul,
and
actually.
they're doing it again right now.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
Yeah. People say that about Paul. I mean, you hear so much trash talk about Paul. Do you get it on Instagram? I get it a lot, where they're like the people that want to take the Pauline gospel out or the Pauline writings out of the Bible. And I've heard a lot about this more and more recently also. And that's a big one. This is something we're going to have to keep an eye on, because especially with this deconstruction of like Christianity, right? And then a lot of people trying to deconstruct the Bible. And why are these Bible or books are not included, right? That discussion.
Yeah.
And why are these only? Who can we trust, right? And and check this out. Also, with the deterioration of the pulpit, the American pulpit, right? Because that's happening also, right? There's all these people that are just falling left and right and getting caught with all this stuff. So it's like it's to ruin the trust of people,
for sure.
And especially Christians, and that's what's happening. And people are just giving up on church. They're giving up on the inerrancy of the Bible, right?
Inerrancy.
Whatever. I knew I got that wrong. I wasn't going to even try to.
Inherency is not a word. But
I figured.
Inherit.
Listen, where I come from in Chicago, anybody would have understood what I was saying.
I mean, I understood what you were saying, but James.
Yeah.
Lizzie,
you didn't miss it. We just started.
We just started.
Yeah.
But maybe she's saying she didn't get notified or something.
Well, then you got to turn your subscribe button on. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for hanging with us on a Thursday night. We are here to have a really interesting conversation, and we're going to go inside the mind of Ben tonight. And we're going to, you can ask questions. Listen, Ben's the kind of guy that you can ask any, I wasn't going to say that you can ask any question to, and he doesn't get offended. He would, and he probably has an answer. If not, he'll make it up and it'll sound like he knows exactly what he's talking about.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, and he will think about it. Yeah. So you can ask anything tonight. Welcome. Please comment. Please smash that like button and share this with random people. If you have a big phoneless, just text people this link just randomly. It'd be fun. Start a conversation. If there's this gal you like or this guy you like, and you just want to start a conversation, don't smash them. No, just have a conversation. Just send them the link and then be like, they'll start a conversation. There you go. That's a free tip.
Nice, Dennis. That's why you're still single.
Hey, man.
You working on it?
I'm working on it.
All right. That's what I want to hear.
I'm working on it.
Be fruitful and multiply, brother. Hey, brother.
I'm not working on it that much.
Well, there's steps before that, obviously.
Right.
Dude. So. Well, hey, what we were talking about just a second ago, I find really interesting about how there's a lot of shade being thrown at they call it Pauline theology.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know how you said you're starting to see it more and more? This is totally off topic for tonight, but I just want to hit this real quick. You know why I think we're seeing it more and more right now than ever before? And I'm seeing it. I'm on Twitter often. I read stuff. And a lot of the accounts that are anti-Pauline, you know what they're very pro?
Anti-Pauline?
They're anti-Pauline.
Would be...
You know what they're very pro?
Pro-Israel, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Pro-Israel. And it's because all of the Pauline stuff says there is no Greek, Jew, Gentile.
Yeah.
That we are grafted in. We are one. They need faith in Christ, just like I put my faith in Christ. I'm the Jew of all Jews.
Is he the only one that spoke? Did Peter speak on that a little bit? I think maybe Peter did a little bit too.
He speaks. He's the most clear, the most articulate, writes the most voluminous. Damn, that one's hard.
I'm not going to even attempt it.
English is our second language.
Yes.
Voluminous. On that specific topic, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a surprise to me that the infiltrators are trying to say that Paul had his own doctrines that he tried to impose. Not at all. Pretty wild, though.
A wild theory too. I remember I was just watching something once, and I kind of was like, it caught my attention, and I watched the whole thing. And only at the end I realized, I'm like, wait a second, what is he saying? And he was just trying to tear up Paul and said that and he shouldn't. None of his writings should be there. This was from the enemy. This is from the devil. Like, dude, that kind of like twisted thinking though. Like, listen, man, if you don't, here's the bottom line: if Christ is not in you, you cannot. You won't know what's going on. Like you'll be just tossed to and fro.
You're cooked.
You really are. You'll go on this doctrine, this theology, this whatever. You'll just anything that comes your way that sounds good, or people around you are agreeing to, you're just going to agree with it.
Damn.
Hey. That's the bottom line.
Believing the Bible is, as we have it, is the Bible.
Right.
Salvation issue or not? Oof. Tough.
Believing the Bible as we have the Bible, is that a salvation issue or not?
I don't think it is. Don't stone me here.
Yeah, this is a question he's never even asked me before.
I didn't even ask myself, but I'm just saying, remember, hey, Tuesday in the hang, we read, these are the matters of the gospel of first importance that were given to me, and I give them back to you, or whatever Paul says in Corinthians 15, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything about the Bible. They didn't even have the Bible, bro.
They didn't have the Bible.
They didn't have the Bible, and people were still saved by faith in Christ. I think we gotta.
We have to extract that, man, and talk about that.
We'll get into that another time.
It's interesting that you said that though, because even me, I've been reading a lot about the gospel lately, just different points of view, this one book I'm reading right now is kind of trying to open up this idea that the way we are presenting the gospel, we have been in the Western church for at least the last 120, 30 years, is not full. And it's causing a problem. And they call it the salvation gospel or the Jesus gospel. It's like the difference between, there's two that he's making a distinction between, which is crazy.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but Dispies also believe in 2 different gospels.
What?
Dennis, you have no idea. Oh, God.
Wow.
And if you guys are in the show, you probably know where we stand on these issues. I can't tell you how many people I've been listening to, books I've been reading on dispensationalism, all talking about 2 different gospels. They talk about the gospel of grace of Christ, and they talk about the gospel of works in the kingdom. Because once you're in the kingdom, it's a different gospel. You need to maintain the Sabbath. You need to maintain sacrifices. You need to do all the things to make sure you're in proper. Bro, it's Judaism 2.0. It's just that Jesus is there, and somehow he's really impressed with your animal sacrifices. What are you talking about? And, I can't start right now. Guys,
we won't.
Aliens aren't demons. They're off-planet Nephilim, okay, that survived the flood. And now the hens are back to roost. And if you don't know what that means, you don't have chickens. That's my theory. I know we've talked about it before, but next week, Friday in the morning, Dennis, 10:30 a.m. my time, which is earlier for you, 9:30 a.m. your time. We, sir, are going on Nephilim Death Squad to articulate this theory.
When is that happening?
Next Friday.
Oh, I thought you said tomorrow. I'm like, wait, it is?
No, we have to, reschedule. Next Friday, 10:30 a.m. my time, 9:30 a.m. your time. Okay. Anywho, so what I thought would be cool is if we start going through the theory, asking questions, thinking about it, poking holes. I've got my reasons for believing it. It's not just because it sounds awesome. Bro, if this was a movie, bro, you want to make Left Behind, but like a cool version, this is it. You know?
All right.
So
I know a guy who was in the movies. So
there you go.
Maybe we'll have a chat.
There you go. Dude, yeah, this will be the script. We're gonna write it now. So I wanted to hang out with the friends on a Thursday, hang out with you too, because you're also my friend. Share the idea, see what you guys think, see how I got there, poke holes, okay? Because I'm trying to see if I'm crazy or onto something. Because I haven't heard anybody else talk about, hey, the reason that there's so much variety in the alien phenomenon or the disclosures or all of that crap, the reason there's so much variety is because there's a lot going on, way more, way more than Christians like ever even imagined, you know? And so since I have autism and an imagination, maybe this has really helped in seeing a bigger picture.
All right. So who are we going to thank for that? What vaccine company?
Autism.
What vaccine company are we
Sponsored by Autism.
All right. Well, let's get into it. So,
all right.
Is this like a timeline view, or is this like, where are you starting? Is it a question you're going to ask, or just an idea that you're going to put out there?
Well, I put the idea out there. Okay. Here's the reason for this. Let me start there. All right. Listen, I'm just going to talk and you guys let me know what you think. Okay. I don't have it like, here's the best way to start to get the idea across. If you guys have an idea of an outline, let me know. I'm all ears. This is like, what's it called when you, I can't think of the word, where you like socially aggregate information, crowdsource. Okay. This is like crowdsourcing the theory. You know what I'm saying? So obviously Fox News is talking about reptilians, Nordics, insectoloids, the Greys, okay? 4 categories of beings. They're not the first to talk about this. There's people who have had encounters with aliens for decades that have mentioned these entities before, okay? So that's 4. That's just 4. Then we know biblically there's Satan, demons, fallen angels, watchers. I don't know if those 2 are the same thing, but maybe not. Then you have Paul that says it's not a battle of flesh and blood. It's a power of principalities, authorities, dominions, thrones. We're at 12. I don't know if these are all, some of them can be combined because it's a different word for the same thing. I don't know. Haven't gotten that far yet. I'm going to do that research, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, bro, we're at 12. Dennis, UAP / UFO. I'm going to keep that the same.
Yeah.
Glowing orbs that can be summoned on command,
Mm.
right? We're at 14. We're at 14 freaking nefarious, malevolent beings, entities, crap. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what those are, right? But you know what they're not? All demons.
Okay.
Right? No, a demon's one of those 14 things that I listed. And by definition, biblically or from Enoch, a demon is a disembodied spirit of the Nephilim. Oh yeah, 15, Nephilim.
Okay.
Right?
How about Bigfoot? Does he count?
Probably one of those. He's probably one of those. You know what I'm saying? Whether a Nephilim or maybe there were other categories. Maybe there were other kinds of hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, dude. They're messing around with all that stuff. They could have all kinds of things could have came out of that.
All kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Hey, we're at 15. That's just off the top of my head, right? Yeah. We're at 15 malevolent entities that have been talked about. Then you get into like Nathaniel Gillis, man, with the practitioners, these things that can jump from person to person through and survive. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
What is that? So, let's add one more. Just evil people, human beings.
Yeah,
we're at 16. We're at 16 malevolent beings that are at play here. You know what I'm saying? So when you keep that whole, I don't know what you call it, spectrum, just because I'm on it. When you keep that spectrum of being, nefarious beings in mind, and you start seeing the different things, I think we should be able to call it out specifically and be like, that's a this, that's a that, that's a this, that's a that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it matters, because NDS, Nephilim Death Squad, with Timothy Alberino, their whole feud was, it doesn't matter. Aliens are demons. Aliens are demons.
That's where those guys are at?
Yes. That's where maybe they're a little softer now and there may be nuance. They know there's nuance. But to them, it's all demonic. It's all satanic, which I agree.
Oh, sure. I agree with
satanic.
That too. Yes.
But just saying aliens are demons is not accurate. It's not true. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, I guess you have to make that distinction, but we also have to make that clarification, because when you say that aliens are not just demons, then I think people's minds can go to, well, then they could be good too then, and that's where we have to be careful, because can they not, like well, you just said after that is that you believe it's all demonic, all of them, whether they're demons or Nephilim or
demonic
whatever.
In the sense of it's evil.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Not demonic in the sense of they're all demons acting out of their nature, which would be demonic by nature.
Yeah. Okay.
Just that it's evil.
So all of them, just their nature is evil. And all right, because that's what I want to make clear when we say that. I'm glad we talked about that.
Okay. And along the way, hey, as I'm talking, again, I'm thinking out loud, trying to put this thing together. Anybody in the comments that has questions or wants to bring something to my attention or info that I haven't thought of or mentioned, or thinks I'm an idiot and wants me to clarify something, let me know. I'm trying to think out loud with you guys as well. Okay. And what's that one say?
Listening to Nathaniel Gillis is like coming up on a car wreck and not being able to look away. It's so true.
Dude, it's so true. Dude,
it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
He's so intelligent. I want to talk to him to try to dumb it down.
I mean, maybe you can be that filter for something like that, is to grasp what he's saying and then try to, I don't think he can. I think it's just the way he is. That's and how he processes. Yeah. I have a hard time following him,
I do too sometimes.
Yeah. But when I am following him though, oh my gosh, that's when the whole car wreck thing, because it's like, I can't stop thinking about this now. I can't look away. So I totally agree with that. By the way, Dizzy loves this method.
Nice.
So
chime in.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know, just off the top of my head, listed 16 different things people have mentioned and talked about. Bro, we haven't gotten to fairies. We haven't gotten to elves. There's like an insane amount of stuff. I don't know if it's all real. I don't know if it's all factual. I'm just saying this is what's been mentioned or accounted for. We do know on Fox News, they're talking about 4 entities right now. They're talking about Greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians.
It's crazy.
Okay? Then we have videos of crafts, like metallic crafts, right? Ones that people say were crashed and recovered. Then we've got videos of orbs,
you broke up there. We got orbs, I think you said, and then
okay, we've got metallic crafts like the typical UFO.
He crashed again. Oh my gosh, he crashed again. Dude, this is weird.
Why is it only when I say this?
I know. Twice. That's wild. Okay, so we have metallic.
You try saying it. Oh, but you can't hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Okay.
Try again.
We have orbs that can be summoned and move in every which direction. Okay. And we have metallic crafts, which do not get summoned, but also move in every which way direction. So they act the same in space, but one is summoned with prayer by the practitioner, and the other is just on its own at military sites and wherever it feels like it needs to be. Okay. So even just in what we've seen and what we have videos of and what we know of and what the news is telling us, we have 2 forms of crafts, maybe, and we have 4 forms of entities, even though I listed another 12.
And just to be clear, this is not Fox News, right? This is on the biggest news station since the whole Trump fiasco stuff, right? I mean, they really overtook everything.
For sure.
Fox, if you're watching the news, you're pretty much watching Fox.
Dude, this is boomer grade info right now. That's where we're at.
You're right. This is not just like some, fringe that, we're talking about it because a buddy of ours, read a book or no, this is mainstream, right? And to a global audience, because there's other people in other countries listening to Fox News too and watching it. And whatever's on our Fox News, whatever that script is the same script in whatever Europe, right? Because they're using the same script.
Right.
So this is the leak. This is happening now. This is actually, and they're calling out entities, guys. Do you understand that they're telling us that there are reptilians on the face of this earth right now, that they have insectoids on the face of this earth right now? Nordics. Like, do you guys register? Are you guys just for a second? We can't go past that, because why isn't this the biggest thing out there? Okay, just so you know, I thought your username was Leah F Cat. Yeah, you said that last time. So it's Leaf Cat, man. That is. You said that last time, so I'm like, no, it's Leaf Cat.
I know. That's why I was laughing. Hey, because, and I get it. I'm here too, to some degree. I'm here too. Until I see any of them, I'll remain a skeptic. I do think the government are using this.
Man,
I think the timing.
Freaking up.
Still?
Yeah. Mike. Real name is Mike. Awesome. Nice, Mike.
Okay, Lee or Leah.
It's Mike.
Leah F Cat. Hey, okay. I think the timing is being used by the government. Okay. To cover up and for whatever reasons they have. But I think the substance has been around long before even America was around. There's accounts from the 1500s of metallic discs in the air over a town in Germany, and it seemed like they were having a battle in the sky. There is Josephus in 70 AD at the destruction of Jerusalem that said that there was chariots of fire, and it looked like heaven's armies battling in the sky over Jerusalem. There's historic accounts that you can pull up right now. There's actually a depiction of the one in Germany. Dennis, Google.
What's it called?
Just look up UFO battle over Germany, medieval times. I don't know. I hope that pulls something up.
Pretty good, actually.
But I'm just saying, I agree that there is a deceptive angle to this that the government is trying to use. But you have to realize that this stuff goes back a long, long time ago. There you go. That's a painting of a description. I don't know if the date is there. This is what people described seeing over the skies of what town in Germany?
Aliens, Nuremberg in
Nuremberg.
1561.
There you go.
Oh, good timing. This is when the Protestant Reformation was happening.
Whoa, interesting.
Right.
Interesting. Are you watching Love on the Spectrum?
I've never heard of it.
You will.
I don't watch much TV.
Okay, never mind. Just so you know, I've been saying interesting way before Love on the Spectrum came out.
Okay.
So this is a painting of the battle over Nuremberg in 1561, where they said that metallic discs were battling in the sky. Okay, that was not the government trying to psyop us. You know what I'm saying? There's a great researcher. Her name is Diana Pasolka. She's been on Rogan several times and a bunch of other shows. She had access to the Vatican archives and libraries. And she went in and has chronicled ancient, or not ancient, but historic accounts of UFOs, like discs, metallic discs, going back centuries, you know? Let's see what this question is. Wait, are you guys going to be suggesting whatever they are from other planets and have lives, technology, buildings, creativity, society? Maybe. You'll just have to stick around and see. So all that to say, I agree there's an angle that the government's pulling on us. But at the same time, this stuff's been around a long time. Okay? We can't ignore that.
Yeah, and I'm skeptical also because I've never seen anything, you know. And I do have a buddy though. He's a truck driver, and he said he saw discs before driving. And every time I'm on a long road trip, I try to see
Look
if I
around.
can find anything. Yeah, but nothing.
I don't know. We have a lot of comments that come in of people that say they have had encounters, not with metal discs. I'll say that. But that have had demonic / alien encounters. I get comments all the time, okay, and DMs. We have had people on who say that they have been abducted even after becoming Christian.
Yeah,
you know. So I don't think Christians are immune from this sort of nefarious activity, but I could be wrong. I'm just telling you what they told me, right? Okay, let's go on. So if this part might get a little controversial, or people might think I'm a heretic, but just hear me out. Before you call me a heretic, call me a heretic after at least. I don't think God alone has the power to create some kind of life.
Oh,
I don't.
That I might call you a heretic. No, I don't know.
Go on.
I want to say only he can do that.
Do we have biblical examples where something which God did not create came to life and existed in this realm?
Is this a trick question?
No.
Oh, do we have biblical examples of something God created?
God did not create.
That came to life. I can't think of anything.
What are the Nephilim?
Oh, okay. Well, that makes a good point. Yeah, because I actually did think about this now that you said that. I forgot about the Nephilim. You're right. Because I questioned that too. Like when they were birthed, right? Like when they had, I mean, is it just like, well, God created life. So if life is going to be manipulated and then it continues in the way it was, but is that still God's like original creation?
Dude, it doesn't matter. Because even like Carrie says, well, Genesis 6 is about the sons of God creating life. Exactly.
What? Carrie, look at you.
Dude, she's on it, bro.
Thanks.
She's one of our She's one of our top students. I'm just kidding. Don't listen to us.
Dude,
I have autism.
You are not our student.
Not.
Please.
Hey, but that's exactly right. The Nephilim account, even though they are using existing creation, whatever they do, whether it's genetic manipulation of DNA and hybrid programs and angelic petri dishes and technology and divine material with female material combined. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. Okay. But the result is a life form that God did not create. You know what I'm saying?
Dang.
You see what I'm saying? So when we hear of, and if you guys weren't here, I probably cannot list them all again, but off the top of my head, I came up with 16 nefarious beings or entities or whatever, objects at work, right? Bro, to say that Satan stopped at Nephilim is kind of silly in my opinion.
Yeah, I can.
Why would he stop?
Yeah, I can rock with that.
What are the rules? What are the rules that you can only take women and create half God or half divine, half angelic, half human hybrids? Where are those rules? Aren't there endless societies and ancient cultures that depicted and have mythologies of half animal, half human creatures? Why do we just pass that off as silly ancients? They were just anthropomorphizing the animal. Why are they always their gods?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, man. I can't argue that at all.
Look at every single Egyptian god. Well, I shouldn't say every single one, but usually it's a half animal, half human, or some with wings and some with all sorts of half dragons or some full dragons. If you look at, is it the Mayans that worship the dragon and they have their temples to the dragon? Oh, that's weird. How do they know of a freaking dragon? How do they know of people coming by boat and giving them knowledge with wings? By the way, they had wings. Anywho, so all I'm saying is, I think biblically, we have evidence that Satan or his minions or whatever is at work has the ability to create things that God did not intend to be created. And again, I don't think it's just magic. I often believe a lot of that stuff was technological.
Yeah,
I think the author, which is Moses wrote Genesis. Moses is in the wilderness. I don't know how many years BC, 400 years BC or something like that, out of Egypt. And the only way that he knows to describe life being created is sons of God came into daughters of men and produced the Nephilim.
Right.
Moses doesn't have language or concepts for, even if God showed him a vision of those events. Moses wasn't there to see it. God had to reveal this to him. Right?
Yeah.
So if God is showing him a vision of how the Nephilim were produced, even if it's actually in a laboratory or...
Wait. Maybe it wasn't even a vision. Maybe they were around.
Being produced at the time? No, I'm talking about Genesis 6 is an account of the pre-flood world.
Right.
Which Moses was not privy to. We're talking about thousands of years.
Right, but it says that it was the Nephilim were there before and after the flood.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay,
we'll get there. But
because weren't there like the Amalekites and all these people, like
the Zamzumim, the Rephaim, the Gibberim?
All right, there's a bunch of like.
Okay, there's a bunch of memes. Okay, but Moses is talking about what God's revealing to him before the flood.
Okay,
Moses didn't see that happen.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, even if he had a vision of it, and he sees somehow daughters of men, sons of God, and whatever is going on in that lab or that room or that bedroom, or the result is these things are created. The only language he has for reproduction is they came into them and they produced this. But we don't know how it was produced, because it's hard for me to believe that angels have wieners.
Right. See, didn't we talk about this like months ago or a year ago? I was like, how did that even happen? Like,
yeah, that's hard for me to believe. You know what I'm saying? Or that they have semen. That's also hard for me to believe. But what's not hard for me to believe is that they have a technology or an ability to manipulate genetics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, dude, even demonically, now let's be specific, demons. Jesus would cast out a demon out of somebody and their arm would grow back, or their seizures would go away, or their like physical ailments would go away as a result of that demon being exorcised.
Right.
So is it possible that demons or the spiritual realm can affect the physical material realm somehow? I think so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, isn't Jesus the result of
it?
The spirit at work in Mary, and a physical being comes out called Jesus?
Right. Well,
I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm not saying Satan did that and the Holy Spirit did. I'm not saying that. But what God does, Satan mirrors, or Satan mimics. With whatever abilities he's got, he mimics it. You know what I'm saying? So that's another one of the points that I wanted to bring up, is that Satan can create life. However, whatever means, he can make stuff that wasn't here before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, if we land on yes, that's true, then that opens up a whole new world. But it also makes sense. It makes these other things make more sense now, because he's creating.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So we know before the flood, Satan was around, dude, and we'll get into the script. Like, I can't wait to get into the actual verses, because it's fun to theorize and talk about. When you have this in mind, like, it's kind of changed the game for me when I'm reading Genesis. Again, it could just be like a terrible filter through which I'm reading the scripture, like dispensationalism. What? But it's fun. Okay. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So be it. I could toss this away and move on. It doesn't affect my life in the slightest if I'm wrong. But if I'm right, we might have some answers to what we're actually witnessing. You see what I'm saying? Do we have anything in the chat?
Yeah, I wanted to put this from Devil Dog. Yes, Nephilim and thus were not created for heaven or hell, and are disembodied demons, and they did have all those things I listed, but are not some society with culture or morals.
Let me ask a question real quick. I'm just gonna call you Dog. My dog. Hey, what precludes them from having any kind of civilization, culture, rules, society? Like, why do you say that isn't a possibility? When the Nephilim were on the earth, ruling, for 1,000 years. We'll get into the timing in the scripture in a second, because I've been doing research. I just haven't gotten far because rabbit holes are deep, you know? So for 1,000 years, the Nephilim were on the earth. Do you think that they were just swinging like clubs over their backs like ogres, and we're just pulling women by their hair and going, me, big giant, Satan? I don't think
they were ruling.
I don't think
they were ruling.
I don't think that's what.
Wasn't one of them like a king?
There were Nimrod.
Yeah,
that's after the flood. And after the flood was a fart in the wind compared to what it was like before the flood. You know what I'm saying? But fart in the wind.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. But all that to say, not a single ancient civilization accounts. They all have a flood mythology. They all have an account of a global flood. They've all changed the details a little bit and the names and the characters to account for their own cultural heritage. Okay. But they all have a flood mythology. And they all say the pinnacle of humanity's history was the golden era before the flood. That's when humanity was humanity. That's when the gods roamed the earth. The Nephilim were not stupid ogres living in caves and just really big and dumb. And heck no, that is not the result of supernatural fallen angel spawn with human women, which are post-garden, still living for hundreds and hundreds of years, still genetically and mentally very fit. You know, you don't produce retarded giants. You produce rulers and kings. Bro, God himself calls them the mighty men of old, the men of renown. You think God thinks retarded giants are mighty? That's not the name. Yeah. That's not the word he would use. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? These were kings. They were rulers. They had empires. They had culture, civilization, arts, technologies. They were just like us. But Genesis, I want to say 6, maybe 7, I don't know, somewhere in there, says that every intent of their heart was evil all the time. Imagine an advanced human race that was manipulated or altered or affected by the fallen angels who were just pure evil.
Right.
I think they'd have some crazy societies, you know? Okay, let's see. Dennis, hit what you think I need to talk about, because I need to keep going down the outline. But if it's something we need to hit, let's do it. Okay? Because I'm down to just hang out and chat with people too. Cool.
Do you have something to show right now, or do you want to bring up scripture, or what do you want to do next?
Oh, I thought that in case there was a response.
Yeah, I just haven't read them. I'm going to read through them.
Okay. Dude, so we've established there's diversity within the malevolent hierarchy, right? We also know biblically there's diversity within the benevolent hierarchy. You've got God, you've got Jesus, you've got angels, which are messengers. You've got cherubim, seraphim. You've got the oraphim, or whatever they're called. You have the wheels within the wheels. You've got the angels that have the face of a cow, lion, man. Like, actually, those might be the cherubim. But I'm just saying, you have diversity in that benevolent realm as well. To think that it's just Satan, fallen angels, demons is silly to me. It's totally silly to me. There's definitely diversity, and I think that's what we're actually seeing.
Isn't that what like principalities would be? Principalities, dominions?
Maybe that's what Paul called them, and we're just calling them something different. But I will tell you, Paul had the language for sons of God, fallen angels, watchers. He didn't use that language. He used new language: principalities, dominions, I think thrones. You know what I'm saying? Because all that other language is also used in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And he didn't use that language.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's something interesting.
Hit it.
The Relians, I've been hearing a little bit more about this, want to build an embassy to welcome the Elohim with Jesus Christ not later than 2035. And then the Relian movement launches Planetary Disclosure Day, Embassy Month campaign to prepare humanity for extraterrestrial contact.
I believe it, bro. Dude, I believe all of that.
It's crazy.
I believe all of that, man. And I will say to Dog, I'm not of the opinion necessarily. Dude, Tim Alberino says that the kingdom of heaven, where God rules and the angels are, is actually a planet in space. To me, it sounds, and I love Tim, he's a homie, it sounds very Mormon.
Yeah.
Because Mormons believe they all get planets in the solar system. They all repopulate. You know what I'm saying? I don't buy that. I don't think the kingdom of heaven is dimensional, in the third dimension, I should say. I think it's beyond all of creation. You know what I'm saying? But he actually thinks that there's a society on another planet with God, the Father, and angels, and they eat and they drink and they come here once in a while and visit us. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. And that's not what I'm saying Satan's kingdom is like, or the Nephilim kingdoms are like. Okay. But we'll get there. Or maybe that is what I'm saying. We'll get there because I'm thinking about it as I say it. So let me read this real quick. Adam and Eve sinned and were cut off from the technology of the gods. Okay. What to us sounds like spiritual, or what to us in the Bible is described as spiritual or supernatural, just means unexplainable.
Okay.
This is supernatural to somebody 2,000 years ago.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Easy concept. What God and the Elohim and the angels are able to do in our dimension might just be some like standard run-of-the-mill capability, like us making a phone call. But to us in our dimension, it looks like magic. It looks like supernatural abilities. Higher technology to lower dimensions looks magical. So I'm not saying definitively that the kingdom of heaven uses technology, but I would not be surprised if they do.
Well, I mean, technology can be different, made up of different things, right? Like technology can be made up of sound and water and light and right, energies and different kinds of things. It's not just like electricity, right? We look at technology more with like electricity more than anything, but now we're starting to see, I think, and that's where I think the pre-flood, why it was so technological, pre-flood, because it was more, I think they had technology that was more like water and sound. And I think that's how they moved all those big blocks and all those things. So I just think our technology to me is probably weaker than what they had before.
Oh, it's got to be, man. It's got to be. We can't even explain how they built the freaking pyramids. We don't know how they were able to melt and scoop stone. Do me a favor, pull up scooped stones, probably Peru. We have no idea how they did these things. We can't explain it. We can't even guess. But somehow we're really, really smart compared to these people that just lived in caves and rubbed sticks together and made fire. You know, so silly. But the idea that technology to lower dimensions, or even just to ancients or people from the past, would look like something supernatural, I don't think is a stretch. And bro, even think about it. God commanded the high priest to wear, oh yeah, there you go. Can you make any of those larger? Are those scoop marks?
Looks like it. I mean, that's what I typed. I don't know who that guy is. Hang on.
There's some specific ones, but I'll keep talking until I see it.
Yeah.
Damn, man, I really want to see the freaking scoop mark.
Yeah.
This is all Egypt. This is all Egypt. They also have the same thing, I believe, in Peru, where it straight up looks like a hand. Try melted hand through stone, or melted stone hand, something like that. It's not. There you go. That one. Oh, it's so tiny. Forget it. You guys could look it up. Look up scooped stone. Look up melted stone with hands, stuff like that. You'll see the pictures. Dude, so to me, even Adam and Eve, if you guys remember in the garden, it said that we need to remove them from the garden lest they eat from the tree of life and live forever. Mm-hmm. Adam wasn't created to live forever. He lived like 900 something years after getting kicked out of the garden. But he would have to eat of the fruit of the tree of life in order to maintain his immortality. And even in his fallen state, had he eaten of the tree, he would still continue to live forever. And the Bible says, let us remove him so that he may not eat of the tree and live forever after he sinned. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe there was actually a tree that produced a fruit, which when you'd eat did something chemically and like reset your genetic degradation. I don't know. But even still, guess what? That's a technology. That's a pharmaceutical. Right. That's a drug. Mm-hmm. That's the fountain of life or the fountain of youth, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not just a willy-nilly, oh my God, if I plant this seed in the ground, it will reproduce more trees of life.
Right.
I don't think so. God created that thing specifically for this purpose. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can graft branches from the tree of life into other trees, and then those trees now get certain ability. I don't think so. This was a technology, you know, just like a drug is a technology. It's something with an intentional purpose in mind, right? And then hit it.
No, someone wrote this, and I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm gonna see. Obelisk still the biggest obelisk still in the ground from scoop marks. I got to look it up.
Yes. Good call. I'm so glad you know what we're talking about. Dude, the way they were cutting the stones in Egypt for these immovable stones. They do not have the ability to move these based on the chronology of human development. There's no way for them to move these stones. Not only that, but the way that they are cutting the stone out of solid bedrock, which I think is granite, is with scoops. It's not saw marks. It's not chiseling away a little bit of rock at a time.
I've never heard this. It's crazy, but I still can't find it. It's weird.
Keep looking. I do think it's really interesting, and it's there. You'll be able to find it.
I'm not as good as Jamie.
Yeah, you're no Jamie.
I'm no Jamie.
Hey, Dennis. Adam fathered Seth at 130 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's Genesis 3. Cain and Abel were already born before that, and already died and were banished before Seth was born. Okay. So my notes are trash. I have to rewrite these. So Adam, maybe around 100 when he got kicked out of the garden, probably created as an adult. I don't think Adam was created as a child. I think Adam was created with age. Mm-hmm. We actually don't know how much time Adam spent in the garden.
Right.
We don't know if he was there for a day. We don't know if he was there for a year, 1,000. We don't know. I don't think Adam named all the animals in a week. I
think he was there for a while.
I think he was there for quite a while.
No.
I don't think he realized he was lonely after a week. You know what I'm saying? I don't think once Eve entered the picture that the next morning she went and started fiddling around with the tree of knowledge and good of evil. I bet you, dude, I think they were there for a pretty long time, you know? And the Genesis story, I'm not saying it's not true. What I'm saying it's condensed.
Do you believe that they were multiplying prior to her eating of the fruit? Because there is that take on that's how there were more people here for Cain and Abel or something to have wives or something like that.
I don't think that was necessary. I think they could have multiplied once they got out of the garden. I don't know. I don't think that it really matters. I do find it hard to believe that if they had sex while in the garden, they wouldn't reproduce, because the command to be fruitful and multiply came before they sinned.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Almost as if God's original design was them to be fruitful and multiply and fill the garden, because the garden would just grow with them. They were supposed to cultivate and expand the garden. That was part of their blessing. It wasn't like a curse to work that ground until they sinned. Then thorns and thistles appeared in hard labor. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I don't think it really actually makes a difference.
Yeah, there is that where it says that your labor will increase, like in pain, or pain will increase in labor.
Birth pains, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that word increase is like, well, it has to increase from what? From something, from a certain level of pain or no pain, right? To a certain level of pain has to increase. So to me, it's not like from now on you will have pain, or like as you give birth you'll have pain. It was the I think it's kind of saying that you didn't have pain before, but you will now.
Yeah, that's how I could see it too. Because if she never experienced childbirth
Right.
in the garden, and he's like, from now on your labor pains will increase, she could just be like, what's
that?
labor?
Right. That's what I'm saying. That word implies that they were already multiplying, to me.
Yeah, man. And not only that, but like, dang, no, there's nothing that precludes them from having offspring while in the garden, you know? And the Bible, when it talks about people, it's zooming in on their role in this narrative.
Right.
It doesn't mean other stuff's not going on. You know what I'm saying? Even when it talks about like the chronology of the patriarchs or the lineage of Jesus or something like that, people will often assume that the person mentioned is the firstborn. That's not true. That's not true. It's just the person that God used in that lineage to produce the next guy that was necessary for the next thing, necessary for the next thing, necessary for the next thing. It's called telescoping. It's a concept where it focuses on a particular person in time rather than it being chronological, you know? But either way, hey, some math. So again, Adam fathered Seth at 130 years old. Again, I think Adam was created with age in the garden, okay? And he probably spent time in the garden before getting kicked out. He had some work to do. He named the animals. He realized he was lonely. He got a wife. They spent time together. Who knows what they did? If I had to guess, Adam's probably 100 years old by the time he gets kicked out of the garden. Still very young in his lifespan, because I think he lives to 900 something, you know? So I'm just going to say 100 years old.
Yeah, 930.
I could be off by 50 years. I could be off by probably not more than 50 years if I'm wrong, you know? Because again, Adam was created with age. So let's just say 100, just for argument's sake. If you add up the traditional chronology and the ages in Genesis, from Adam to the flood, you're looking at 1,656 years. From Adam to the flood. If Adam was 100 when he got kicked out, subtract 100, you're looking at 1,556 years from the expulsion of Adam to the flood. Okay? Again, I could be out 50 years. Big whoop. So about 1,500 years, let's just say, you know? Enoch says 200 watchers descended to Mount Hermon in the days of Jared. Jared means descended in Hebrew. Enoch, Book of Enoch says Jared's son and ministered in the dang, stupid notes. Let me see. Okay, I'm sorry. Jared was Enoch's son and ministered in the generation of the watchers before getting raptured. Before Enoch was raptured. Genesis 6, 2 through 9, Peter 2 through 4, or 2 Peter 3 through 4, Jude 1 through 6, Enoch 6. Okay, and those are the quotes I'm going to have to look up. But anyway, Jared is Enoch's son. Enoch gets raptured. Jared, I believe, or Enoch ministers in the days that the watchers descended. So, Moses didn't see firsthand the sons of God taking the daughters of men, that kind of stuff that we talked about earlier. Right. But Enoch sure did. Enoch names his son Jared, which means descended. You know? And it says that Enoch ministered in the time that the sons of God were doing these things. So Enoch had firsthand knowledge and witness of all this, man.
Right. So cool.
I know, crazy. According to the chronology, Jared lived 162 years and fathered Enoch. Okay, my bad. So I flipped him. So if Adam was 100 when he got kicked out of the garden, watchers came down in the days of Jared. That means they would have come down in 450 to 700 years after Adam. If Adam was 100 when he was banished, Jared was 162, Enoch was born. The Watchers came down when Enoch was born, and Enoch witnessed what happened in his lifetime. If they came when he was born, 522. So all that to say that there was about 1,500 years from the time of the flood to Adam. And when you do the math, it comes out to about 1,000 years from the Watchers to the flood. That was the whole point. I don't want to read this whole thing. I'm just skipping through.
Yeah.
So 1,000 years from the time of the Watchers to the time of the flood. Okay. Again, I don't think the Watchers were stupid. I think they're highly, 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 highly intelligent entities that God created. I don't think Adam and his descendants, don't forget Adam's descendants lived hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years too. Right? Bro, Noah after the flood lived in an additional 300 years after the flood.
Right.
He lived a total of 900 something years as well. So not only Adam was living that long, so were his descendants.
Sure.
So
hey, we might have a correction here. Enoch is Jared's son. Methuselah is Enoch's son. What is going on here? Do we have something wrong there?
Yeah, we did. That's why I said I flipped it.
Oh, you did. You already corrected this? Sorry.
Yeah, but I just moved on real quick. Sorry.
Right. Thank you.
I flipped my notes are poorly written. So I flipped that. It's what he said.
Got it.
So thank you for that correction. So 1,000 years of Watcher activity on the planet. Do you know what we were like 1,000 years ago?
Dude, that's wild just to think about that though.
Just conceptually, what was humanity like in the year we're in 2026? What was humanity like in the year 1026? It was a joke. Mm-hmm. It was a freaking joke. Okay. What we've done to advance in 1,000 years technologically without any sort of divine intervention, any sort of angelic fallen angel technology. Enoch says that they gave technologies, pharmakeia, knowledge of weapons and how to use them, stuff like that. That's what they brought with them when taking these women. Okay. So we're talking about today, bro, we're talking about AI and how we're scared that it's going to take over the planet in 10 years or something like that. And we can't control it and blah, blah, blah. You know, this is just a computer. This is how scared we are of a computer's ability to advance. Imagine angelic technology in our dimension.
Right.
For 1,000 years. You know what I'm saying? I do not think that they were ogres with clubs on their back. I don't believe that at all. Not for a freaking second, man. AI is better. It should stand for alien intervention. That's the true AI right there. You know what I'm saying? So if we, with our technology, wanted to get off planet, we invented airplanes in early 1900s. Within 60 years, we went from the Wright brothers with their janky little airplane that flew like 30 feet or whatever it was, to supposedly landing a guy on the moon. But flight to space came like 20 years before that. And I think in the 40s, first rockets went up. That's in 60 years. We went from Wright brothers to somebody supposedly on the moon, but definitely in space. Okay. You don't think that people who worshiped the stars, everything in ancient history is aligned astronomically. Everything in their writings, they worship the stars. They said their gods came from the stars. You don't think advanced humans with advanced technologies would have aspirations to see the stars or go up there?
Right.
What are the gods doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you look at ancient archaeology. You look at the Great Pyramids. There's three of them. Well, there's the Great Pyramid of Giza and then the other two pyramids, which I also call the Greats. So there's three Great Pyramids, in my opinion. Those are aligned to mirror Orion's belt. The Egyptians thought that their god Osiris came from the belt of Orion. And these pyramids cannot be aligned without an aerial vantage point to make sure everything's lining up. The Great Pyramid is aligned. You can look these things up, man. You could chat GPT it, you could whatever you want. The Great Pyramid in Giza, that massive, the biggest pyramid with millions and millions of these stones, okay, is aligned so perfectly north to true north that it's out of alignment fractions of 1 degree. We haven't been able to do this with technology, with our modern technology. We haven't been able to do anything like that until the past 50 years. 50 years or so, and we're still barely like within the same margins of error as the biggest structure on the planet. How the hell is that possible? How's that possible? How do you align 2 million stones, over 2 million stones?
Why is it taking so long for mankind to get back to pre-flood Noah?
Because this is Christ's millennial reign.
Okay. Why did it take so long to get from flood to before pre-Christ, right around the time of Christ? There wasn't this technology. At least we don't know of.
Because the flood had eviscerated it, right? But don't forget, the story goes, after the flood, they get off the boat, and within 150 years, Nimrod pops up and starts building a tower to make its tops in the heavens. Okay, we're jumping ahead a little bit, and God comes down and confuses their language. Otherwise, they'll be able to accomplish anything that they want.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so arguably, if the languages weren't confused, they would have reconnected via this tower, which is historically it's a ziggurat. There were no towers being built. What they were building at that time was pyramids. So these guys are building another freaking pyramid right after they get off the boat, 150 years later, you know, to reconnect with whatever was going on before. And we'll get there. And I have reasons for believing that. But that's to answer your question. It's because God confuses the language. And from that point on, humans disperse and never work together ever again. Until now. Now we're working together again. Now we've eliminated the confusion of language and of thought. And now we're coming back together with the New World Order and the European Union and all of these things that kept humanity separated and divided. We're eliminating all of those and bringing humanity back together. You know, that's why I think we're seeing the timing of the alien stuff. It's happening now. In Satan's master plan, there's a reason for it happening now. So, dude, 1,000 years of demonic, satanic, Nephilim, fallen angel activity on the earth. I think they were highly advanced. I think the pyramids are pre-flood. I think the Sphinx is pre-flood. I think stuff in Peru is pre-flood. All the megaliths, everything that's made of stone that we cannot explain how they were built, I think it's all pre-flood. I think that those are the remnants of the pre-flood world that survived, because the world would not have been affected uniformly by the flood. I do believe that the whole world was flooded. I don't believe in the localized flood theory. But even if the whole world is flooded, it doesn't mean that the icebergs are moving the same everywhere in the world. It doesn't mean that the tidal waves are the same height everywhere in the world. It doesn't mean that the mud that the flood is kicking up is the same everywhere in the world. So some places would be more affected than others. Some places would have just had water covering the tops of the mountains. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And you know what doesn't get affected very much by water submerging it?
What?
Big stones.
Okay.
You know? So if for some reason the flood covered everything in the Middle East, but did not destroy everything in the Middle East, that would explain why we have these structures remaining. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
Dude, and you have, again, which we still can't explain to this day. We don't know what they were used for. They were not tombs. Look this up. Were there any bodies, any mummies found in any of the ancient pyramids? And the answer is no. There was mummies found in so you got the 3 Great Pyramids, okay? The oldest pyramids, the most advanced, the most sophisticated, the best building quality, which cannot be replicated. You have those 3 in Egypt. And then you have a bunch of janky little replicas, which were definitively built later by other kings. And those had mummies in them.
Okay.
So when the archaeologists found or started digging around at the pyramids in Egypt, they were like, oh, these janky ones have mummies in them. These must be tombs. These really, really big ones, even though there's no mummies ever been found in them, they must also be tombs because the janky ones had tombs. Or the emperors, the kings, the pharaohs, they were replicating what they thought as divine architecture and were putting themselves in there to make themselves to the culture, to make themselves seem as if they too are gods. You know what I'm saying? But we don't even know what the purpose of those pyramids was, man. We have no freaking clue. They were not tombs. You've seen the recent discoveries with the scans,
dude.
Shafts underneath the pyramids with the coils going down to bedrock and liquid down there and all sorts of stuff like that. We don't, bro. What we're seeing, have you seen that meme? It's not a meme. It's an AI rendering where it's the triangular pyramid is just what's on top of the surface, and then you go down and it's a huge obelisk. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. Yeah.
And it's just covered by sand. We actually don't even know if we're just looking at the tops of the pyramids and there's more to it. If you remember, do you remember I think it's on Easter Island or whatever it's called, with with those huge statues of people, but back until like the 40s, it was just their heads that were exposed. So everybody just thought it was faces. And then they started digging them out, and they're these like 40-foot massive carvings, you know? We don't even know if the flood buried the rest of the structures of the pyramids. You know what I mean?
Totally possible.
And it's kind of coming out right now that is, with these scans, that is actually the case, that there's more to it that they haven't allowed people to discover, you know? Dude, so all that to say, you would need advanced technology to build these things. There is water erosion on the Sphinx that's not accounted for by rainfall, and would be in keeping with the flood. You know, you can't explain it today. You can't move those rocks with today's technology. We can't explain it with their technology of the Egyptians back 4,000 years ago. Everything's unexplainable. We don't know how scoop marks exist. We don't know how they cut these rocks. We don't know how they moved them 500 miles from the granite quarries. No clue. We have no clue what's going on whatsoever. We're just sold this garbage narrative that like people were farmer gatherers, primitive, and then we've just been getting bigger, better, stronger, and here we are today. Except for there's massive stones stacked on top of another, and we can't explain it, and we don't know what it was used for. You know, there's this guy named Chris Dunn. He wrote a book. Dang, I forget. It's called The Giza Power Plant. Dope. Okay. This speculated that based on the mathematics of the pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Giza, and based on the internal chambers and where they are, if you filled those chambers with specific chemicals, okay, it would act as a battery.
No way. Because
don't forget the pyramid, they used to have crystal. They used to have a crystal exterior on the whole outside, or limestone. And it was reflective, but those also have certain properties that will react with the granite. And then there was a gold capstone on the very top. Okay. So all of that together with the liquids inside would act as a battery, man. So his theory was that ancient Egypt, had a power source. They had electricity, and it was the pyramids. And then what a coincidence, bro. You see pyramids all over the earth. They're all over the earth.
Do you think that's why Pharaoh was so defiant?
No, you're still thinking of post-flood Egypt. I'm talking about pre-flood Egypt.
Yeah, but if they still had the stories, they still had, like, the gods were still around, right?
Yeah, like the fallen angels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
I
mean,
think so. I think they revealed themselves to these guys, but don't forget, after a little bit, God hardened Pharaoh's heart.
yeah, but in what he was doing, um, by what he was doing, his heart got hardened, and I think there's more than I don't know if it was just him changing his heart necessarily, as doing all these things hardened his heart.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, not a big deal, but just a side note of, like, why was he like that?
Yeah.
Because he was. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. But if we, with our puny brains and lifespans, get to space 60 years after aircrafts are discovered,
Yeah.
what about, so we just get to AI, right? What if when the Watchers come down, they hand humanity the equivalent of AI? What if that's where they started?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what makes sense. It's very possible.
AI, angelic. What's it called? AI, artificial, angelic intelligence. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What if that's where they start, is with AI? I'm not saying the form of AI we have. I'm talking about not artificial intelligence. I'm talking about angelic intelligence. That's where they start, and they have 1,000 years to progress.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they were bringing something. They were bringing them knowledge, and not just like, here's how you make fire.
No, that's retarded. You don't think that perfect Adam and Eve coming out of the garden with perfect minds, with incredible intellectual capacity, who were in the garden for decades, century, I don't know, with the Elohim, you don't think that they learned a thing or two? You don't think they saw divine technology or what could be called technology? You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure they were fine. I'm pretty sure they were fine when they left the garden. I'm pretty sure they may have even had abilities that humanity has lost, you know? Anywho, separate topic. But if we get to space in 60 years, once flight is discovered, these dudes aligned pre-flood. If the pyramids are pre-flood, they were able to align the largest structures in human history to Orion Belt and perfectly due north. Mm-hmm. And you need aerial view for that. And they're obsessed with the stars, and they think their gods come from the stars.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they got to space.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, obviously I'm speculating, but it's not far-fetched for me at all to think this. When they get to space, if they make it to other planets, if they make it to the moon, we're doing that now.
Right.
We did that in the 60s, supposedly. Elon is trying to do it again now to go to Mars. There's now accounts of pyramid-like structures on the moon, pyramid-like structures on Mars, obelisks. Can you pull these up? Can you pull up pyramids on Mars?
Yeah.
I haven't vetted these. I don't know if they're real. I've heard this 20 years ago, that there was structures like this on the moon and on Mars. This is way before AI. Way before. I wouldn't doubt whatsoever if they get to these planets. Oh man, there's so many of these things that are, yeah, that's an aerial site. Is that on Mars?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a ton of these, man. There's a ton of these. I would not be surprised if when we get to space or onto these other planets, if we do find remnants of civilizations that were up there, which were there from before the flood. I wouldn't be surprised if there's Nephilim that were engineered to live in those on those planets, to colonize those planets, to mine those planets, to whatever minerals were needed for technologies back home to operate. I wouldn't be surprised, dude, if there was hybrid programs to engineer. That might be what the grays are. That might be what the insectoids are. That might be what the reptilians are. They might be specifically hybridized.
So that they can live up there?
Genetically modified creatures that can live on specific planets outside of Earth. You see what I'm saying? Right. For whatever mission they have, these might be just the trash workhorses of the pre-flood world that they shipped off to go work the planets. You know what I'm saying? And then that's why you see pyramids, if those are real. That's why you see pyramid-like structures on these other planets, is because they're not tombs, but they're a means of transportation. That's why the Great Pyramid's aligned due north.
Yeah.
Is because it points somewhere very specific. That's why all of these structures that are unexplainable by archaeologists and historians, which all have perfect astrological alignment, they all probably went somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know the technology. We've lost the ability to use it. But it doesn't mean that they didn't have it at some point in time, you know? And then, like we said before when we talked about this, hey, those guys try beaming back and the freaking pyramids are offline because the world's flooded, you know? So they're like pushing the button like to be beamed, you know? And they're like, hey,
we're stuck here now.
Somebody phone home,
right.
You know? So they try their communication, they try their whatever other means they have. Maybe they get into some ships and they try coming back.
Yeah.
And they realize nothing's here anymore. Everything's gone. Everything's gone. Right? So what do? They go back and they survive. What did we do after the flood? The waters receded. Noah planted a vineyard, got smashed, had a party, had his cheeks out. His son came in, made fun of him, got cursed, started making babies, replenished the earth. Life goes on. So these guys, wherever they're from, go back and life goes on. Their masters are gone. Their masters back home are gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That to me makes sense and accounts for technological advancement, which I firmly believe in before the flood. It's silly. It's silly not to believe in.
Me too.
Okay. It makes sense of multiple accounts of various kinds of nefarious entities that people have seen or encountered. It makes sense of crafts that are highly advanced and beyond our laws of physics and beyond our understanding of physics, but maybe not beyond angelic understanding of physics, right, which they may have handed to humanity. You know what I mean? Bro, there is actually, let me see if I can pull up this clip. Hey, tell me if this is too loud. Do you know who Bob Lazar is?
I remember talking about him before. Yeah. The UFO guy, right?
Bob Lazar has been on Joe Rogan multiple times. I think he wrote a book. He's kind of the UFO disclosure guy. Stuff that he's claimed has come true about specific elements that they were working with in like the 70s or 80s that were unknown to the public and now have been disclosed that, hey, there is this element that exists. Let me share screen. Tell me if this is too loud, okay? Because do you see it?
Yeah.
If it's too loud, I might just have to kill it.
Okay.
Guys, anybody listening, prepare in case it's too loud because I can't edit the volume here. Ready? Go.
It's crazy because you had this story way back then, and everybody's like, this guy's just making things up. This is all cockamamie bullshit. And then you see those videos from these fighter jets, and you're like, wait a minute. It's moving the exact same way he described. It's doing what he described in 1989.
Yeah.
And then also all the confirmation that you were being fucked with. That, you know, when you're in the gym, they would show up and open up your locked car doors and open your trunk and leave it there. So you go out there and see it, go to your house when you weren't there.
Right. They were even following George Knapp and I mean, all of us, anybody that had anything to do with it at that time, they were keeping eyes on it.
Oh,
It's crazy.
great. Wrong video.
Okay. That's still a good video.
Sorry. Hey, dang it, man. I queued that wrong one up. There's another video exactly like that. I'll just tell you what it says. It's Bob Lazar talking about how he was told when working at the, whether you believe it or not, I'm just telling you what he said, okay? When working at this facility where they were reverse engineering the crafts, the metal crafts, whatever metal it is, they didn't know. But it was, you know, solid. He heard people talking about how one of them or multiple of them were recovered at archaeological sites. So, amongst other things, pottery, jewelry, pyramids, I don't know, spaceships, UFOs, buried along with the other archaeological discoveries. This is what I'm saying. There is evidence that there are UFOs at play and being utilized by these civilizations.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not. This is Bob Lazar's information from his coworkers.
Right.
This isn't me. I'm not making this up. But what I can tell you is that there is a paradigm, there is a worldview, even kind of biblical, that would account for this.
Yeah.
It's called hyper technological advancement from before the flood. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what I think we're witnessing. That's what I think is being discovered at archaeological sites. That's what I think is still, even like Leaf Cat earlier said, he thinks the government's doing some stuff. I agree. I think the government has reverse engineered some of that stuff. So I do think some of it is us. I don't think all of it is us. I think those crafts are still being used by some of the entities on other planets, some of the Nephilim or insectoloids or grays or whatever. Dude, maybe the grays were engineered. That's why they're small, because it's easier to transport something small. It's easier to get in this specific small version of the craft and beam out. You know what I'm saying? So I think when we have this, I know it's wild, but when you have this bigger picture of what is possible from before the flood, and when your mind's open to the idea that they are eons beyond us in what we're technologically capable of,
Yeah.
I think it opens a whole new door of possibility for what we're watching happening now.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it sounds crazy, it makes more sense than it's all demons, because that's not true. We know that's not true.
Yeah, I think saying it's all demons is kind of like a cop out, right? Or it's like maybe that's the wrong word, but like it's just demons. Just I'm not going to even think about it anymore. I just know it's just demons, right? But when you have 4 different kinds of species on Fox News, and that's the other thing too. If and when these things do come out, and we actually see them like around us, like what is that going to do to your belief system?
Yeah, man.
Right. Especially even if you thought they were only demons, right? Because then you're gonna be like, oh wait, they're not demons only. So and if you're not kind of prepared for this, you're gonna freak out.
Yeah.
But if we're like you're talking about these things like we are right now, we're like, okay, we're preparing ourselves to like for whatever's coming. Oh yeah, well this actually does align with what the Bible said. And so our view is actually right. And so we don't get as scared, I think.
Before the flood, God says all flesh was corrupted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That term all flesh actually also applies to the animals. I've got it here. I don't want to read the whole thing. I'm just letting you know that term all flesh is used repeatedly within the same chapters to also refer to the animals. Okay.
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I could read it if you want, but just trust Ben. All flesh being corrupted means the animals were being assaulted, either by the angels themselves or genetically modified. We're doing that now. Think of anything we're doing and extrapolate it like 100 times more sophisticated and advanced, 1,000 times. I mean, geez, I don't know how much more advanced angels are than us. You know, whatever we're trying to do, let your imagination run wild with what they were able to do. There's a reason God says, I will wipe out all flesh. He didn't spare the animals. He spared 2 of each kind. Okay. Maybe those were 2 that were not adulterated. It says that Noah was the only one pure in his generation. The only one, not his wife, not his sons, not their daughters, or not their wives. He was the only one. We talked about this with Prometheus lens. He was the only one tamim in his generation. The only one pure, the only one unaffected. Check it out. Tamim, the Hebrew word, means complete, whole, sound, intact, without defect, blameless.
Wow.
It does not mean sinless. So I don't know why the translators use the word blameless. A lot of translations will say Noah was the only one blameless in his generation. No, he was not. Noah was not sinless. That's what I thought blameless meant.
That's what I thought too. You know, I thought it was always a spiritual thing, not more like a physical thing.
But more specifically, the lambs that were supposed to be sacrificed were called to be tamim, pure, unblemished, unadulterated. Noah was the only one unadulterated in his generation. All flesh was corrupted, according to Genesis 6.
Proverbs says genetically pure. By the way, thanks for hanging with us again, bud. Genetically pure.
I mean, listen, I don't know what else all flesh means. When all flesh is corrupted and Noah's the only one pure, I would think Noah's flesh, actual genetic material, I think his body was not adulterated by whatever was going on at that time. You know, bro, even after the flood, you brought it up earlier, after the flood, when Moses leaves Egypt and they go to Canaan and the spies go over the hill and they're looking and they're like, oh my God, there's giants in the land. And I don't know how, but they get down and they snip off like a freaking, it says a cluster of grapes.
Right.
Okay.
They carried them on their shoulder.
2 guys pull across their shoulders with 1 cluster of grapes, right? A cluster is a cluster. I looked up the language. It means 1 bulb or whatever. A cluster. It does not mean a vine. It does not mean a bunch. Okay. It's just 1 cluster. And it took 2 guys. And with the beauty of AI, I was able to do the math to speculate based on the weight necessary for 2 guys to carry this cluster, how much bigger was their cluster compared to one of our clusters today? 1,000 to 3,000 times larger.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Even after the flood, when the Nephilim were in the earth in those days again, they're altering the genetics of the food.
Yeah.
If they're bigger, did the angels come down and do the business with the food? I doubt it. I bet you they had the ability to alter the makeup of the food somehow. If the people are bigger and they just eat a bunch of little grapes, how many grapes is it going to take to be full?
Yeah.
A lot of grapes.
Yeah.
If you can alter the genetics of the grapes like we do today to make them bigger, it will take less grapes.
Yeah.
This is common sense stuff. We do it all the time. We think we're smart.
I never thought about that.
We think we're that smart. No, this is possibly why, Dennis, all flesh was corrupted before the flood.
Yeah.
Dude, Noah might have just been the hippie out in the woods that's like, I don't want to do anything with it. I'm not taking Neuralink. I'm going to go chill with my freaking chickens in the hill. I'm going to be Noah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get I'm not going to get adulterated. Okay. But I'm just saying, they probably engineered and altered livestock to produce more livestock, to be bigger, I don't know. I don't know why they did it. They probably did the same thing with vegetation in their greenhouses and their food production and
Yeah.
There was probably billions of people on the earth before the flood.
Oh, it's very likely.
Billions of people.
We did that number game.
We did that number game
about
with
a year
AI.
ago. Yeah. It was an astronomical number. That was possible.
It was tens of
Very,
billions.
very, 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 very possible.
Because genetically pure people, unaffected by sin, the earth not killing you yet with ozone being depleted and all that crap, pure food coming out of a perfect ground, people living 900 years, people having babies at 100, 200, 300, 400 years old. You don't think they were having a lot of babies?
Right.
They were having a lot of babies. There was 1,553 years between Adam and the flood. There was a lot of people on the earth, Yeah. And sure, they were probably killing each other. They were probably warring. It says the earth was filled with violence. Guess what? One of the results of technological advancement, even from our era, is an increase in violence and death.
Yeah.
Anytime we advance technologically, the first thing we do, and historically, the first thing humans did, is use it to kill somebody else, So even the notion of the earth was filled with violence in those days, to me is like, oh, that makes sense. Because anytime you make something new technologically, you figure out a way to use it to kill somebody.
Yeah, sure.
So it's kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. I've been going for a while. Do we have anything?
Yeah. Someone wanted to share a book with us. I've heard of Rick Renner. I haven't read this. So if you guys want to check out thank you, the Inveritus. I don't know. I can't read. Check that book out if you guys want to screenshot that. On the Noahs, how the events of Noah's Ark and the flood are relevant to the end of the age. I'm going to look into that. Thank you for that. Proverbs said, men's hearts will fail for what will come upon the earth. Yeah. And I think that we're going to see all the stuff that they were seeing back then.
For sure. I believe that.
And that's why our hearts will fail. This is an interesting take. I don't know what this real book, page 60 is. I don't know. Do you know what that is, Ben? RAEL book.
It's probably that thing he was talking about before, that like cult that's trying to.
Oh, they have like a book?
Maybe.
So to avoid being disturbed by humans, the creators built their bases on high mountains as well as at the bottoms of the sea, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, which is in Isaiah 27 when God says that he'll slay the dragon that's in the sea. Someone else made a comment, are we paid by NASA? I wish.
No, I don't believe we went to the moon. I just think we made it to space.
I don't think we went. This is interesting. Maybe a lot of this transpired in the outer spaces while the earth was without form and void. Like even before the garden?
Even like the stuff I'm describing? Maybe.
Because I guess it depends when Satan fell, right?
Bro, Satan fell after the garden.
Do we know for sure?
We do know for sure. Pull up do me a favor. Google search stones of fire, Ezekiel. Is it Ezekiel like 19 or something, or 16? Just, you'll see.
28.
Okay, Ezekiel 28.
Verses 14 and 16.
Pull up Ezekiel 28, and then you can screen share it and go down to where it talks about I think it's the king of Tyre, or the prince of Tyre. Might be the king. Yeah, check it out. It talks about Satan being in the garden. I personally think Satan fell after a while after Adam and Eve were in the garden, and he fell because of jealousy, because God loved Adam and Eve, and it never says that God loves the angels.
Yeah,
I
so
think
you were
he was
in
jealous.
the garden.
Well, start a little higher. Start at the beginning of right there with the quotations.
Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, raise a lamentation over the king of Tyre and say to him, thus says the Lord God, you were the signet of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Why is that thing going away? It's so stupid. Every precious stone was your covering. I can't take that out. I don't know why it's not. Those stones.
Stop clicking. Like click off of the verses.
I'm not clicking on it. Oh, there we go. All those stones, diamond, topaz, beryl, sapphire, and settings and your engravings on the day that you were created, they were prepared. You were anointed. You were an anointed guardian cherub. But right here it says in 13, you were in Eden, the garden of God.
And that you were an anointed guardian cherubim.
Cherub. I placed you. You were in the holy mountain of God in the midst of the stones of fire. You walked, you were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till unrighteousness was found in you. So I cast you as a profane thing from the mountain of God, and I destroyed you, or guardian cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire.
Yeah, it's in regards to Satan.
Right, but is it you were in Eden? Yeah, I guess you're right.
You were in Eden. Every precious stone was your covering. This isn't Satan as a snake. The reason he's portrayed as a snake in Genesis is because that's his curse. His curse is you don't get to come back. You have to stay there. You have to stay on the earth.
Yeah.
You know? Dude, so that's kind of the big picture. And then even after the flood, we talked about Tower of Babel. Okay. 150 years after they get out of the ark, or maybe 150 years after Noah, but I think it's 150 years after the flood, Nimrod pops into the scene, and it says 3 times in the same, I think 1 or 2 verses, Nimrod was a mighty warrior, a mighty man. It says he began to be a mighty man before the Lord. He was a mighty hunter, a mighty hunter. 3 times he uses the word mighty to describe Nimrod, the same word used of the Nephilim, the mighty men of old. So somehow, 150 years after the flood, Nimrod starts, it says, becoming a mighty man, becoming Gibor. Gibor was the word used for Nephilim. They were the Giborim. So somehow he starts becoming this thing. And then what a coincidence. He's the father of Babel, or of Babel. And they are the ones that say, let's come together and build a tower. And its tops will be in the heavens. So they just wanted a really cool view, I guess. You know what I'm saying? That's where when I was younger, that's where my mind went. I'm like, dude, they just want to like have a good vantage point. Maybe it's strategic if enemies are coming, you know? Or they lived with the tales of Noah, of Seth, of Ham, the tales of people that experienced the world before the flood. Oh my God, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. The world before the flood, the technology was unbelievable. We could move stones with a beam of light. We could transport from here to the stars where the gods were from. We could, and all the little kids are just like, wow, tell me more. You know? Within 150 years, humanity gets together and is like, we want that again. Noah and his family got off the boat and were like, oh my God, everything's gone. We need to start farming. We need to let these animals loose and cultivate the earth. Noah plants a vineyard and gets drunk because life sucks, probably. Life was not the same as before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all the human generations right then after him had to live and experience that shitty post-flood reality now. No more technology, no more help, no more angelic divine intervention, just hard work, you know? I could imagine people hearing the stories of how amazing it was before the flood and them getting really resentful and being like, how did they get all that cool stuff before the flood? How do we not have to like do this anymore? You're telling me there's a way that I could get in touch with these things right there and they're going to come like make this the golden age again? Huh. And then Nimrod shows up, who begins to become a mighty man. It says he was the first to become a mighty man on the earth in those days. Okay. And he starts building a tower to reach the heavens with its tops in the heavens. Sounds like he's probably trying to reconnect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To plug humanity back into what was going on before the flood, to get that advancement, to get that technology, to get the pharmakeia, to give the daughters up, take the women, give us the tech.
Yeah.
We want it all back. Everything that just got wiped out, we want it all back. We don't even care anymore because this life sucks, you know? And bro, they are willing to exchange their future for convenience. Exactly what we're doing today.
Right.
We know this is going to kill us and entrap us.
Sure.
We know that everything we're saying here is going to be used against us. We know AI is building its models off of everything we're doing. We don't give a crap. Why? Because AI is faster than Googling.
Yeah.
That's how retarded we are.
I know.
So it doesn't surprise me at all that Nimrod's like, dude, whatever we got to do, let's freaking get in touch with these guys.
Yeah, we're doing it right now. We're all in. We're doing the same thing. We give it to our kids. We're
all in, baby.
Yeah, I have something I want to say, but I'm going to hold my mouth, my tongue on that because it'll take us in a different place. But let me just get to a couple more.
Sure.
Because as you said this a while ago, the Nephilim had, and this is kind of where I was for a little while, and I think I might still be there too. The Nephilim had only to make seaworthy ships to escape the flood. They didn't have to leave Earth. Think Phoenicians, Phoenix. I think I was there for a while too. Like when you think about where the Nephilim were after the flood, I'm okay with leaving the Earth. Also, I think with like you said earlier, with their technology, their spacecraft, whatever that they're making, they can leave. And obviously, if it's true that there's pyramids up on different planets, then that just makes sense that they left the Earth. But also, I do think that there's a lot going on in the sea as well. That we don't know. I mean, what is it? Only 10% of the sea or 20% of the sea is even discovered, which blows my mind.
Crazy.
Yeah. If that's even true, maybe it's just not discovered because they don't want to tell what's going on down there. So I think there's a possibility for both, that they're in the water and they're out in the sea, or sorry, in space or wherever, out there, and they're coming back. I think that's possible.
Yeah. Again, ships are a means of technology for us. Okay. And the path that we've advanced on. Do not for a second think that is the only path of technology that can be advanced upon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what other paths of technology were available. But I do know who would know that information. Satan, fallen angels, watchers, demons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They probably know a lot more about what's capable here or what's possible down here than we do. So I wouldn't be surprised if they never needed ships to begin with. Why would you use a ship when you can teleport something?
Yeah.
Why would you need a ship when you could fly it? You know what I'm saying? Why would you need a ship when you have other means of fishing? Maybe you don't even use fish. Maybe you're able to genetically modify fish and they just walk out of the sea and go into your grill. I don't know. I'm making that up, but I'm just saying don't get fixated on the path we've taken and expect angelic descendants to go down the same path. That I don't think that that's necessary at all. I'm thinking like when we chatted with Prometheus Lens, I'm thinking if we would have the ability to see the pre-flood world, I think to us who are technologically advanced, I think to us it would look like a magical realm. You know what I'm saying? I think we'd look at it and be like,
oh, for sure.
Oh my God, this is sorcery. This is magic. This is witchcraft. We would have no idea what's going on and how.
Yeah.
And they would just be like, yeah, this is just our technology. What do you mean? Witchcraft? What? No, it's the equivalent of your stupid phone. It's just that ours is way more advanced. And we've cracked the code on physics and the laws of gravity, and we can just do stuff. You know what I'm saying? And dude, I'll give you an example of, in my opinion, post-flood, Nimrod times, Tower of Babel times, an acknowledgement in scripture that they lost technology. They lost the abilities that they had before the flood. In Genesis 11:3, this is the Tower of Babel. Okay. Genesis 11:3. You got it?
Yeah.
Where it says that let's make bricks. Read that part.
And they said to one another, come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. Then they said, come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves. God.
Oh, keep going.
Again. Lost my
Stop
place.
clicking.
I know. I wanted to highlight it.
It's fine.
Let us build ourselves a tower with its tops in the heaven, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of man built. And the Lord said, behold, they are one people, and they all have one language. And this is only the beginning of what they will do. And nothing that they propose to do will now be impossible for them. That's wild. Come, let us go down and confuse their language, so that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord dispersed them from there over the face of all the earth, and they left off building the city.
Okay. Hey, so that part where it says, let us make bricks for stone. They, for some reason after the flood, the first building project they want to undertake, they use brick. This, I think, is the first time brick is mentioned in all of Scripture. You can stop sharing. But they knew that stone could be used. Why didn't they use stone? Why are they going through the process of making bricks?
They couldn't move it.
Getting bitumen. It's like a tar that grows in that area, and using it as pitch. You don't have to do any of that if you can use stone. You have to quarry it. You have to shape it. You have to move it. You have to place it. Basically, you have to do the thing that all the ancient structures were made out of, stone. And Noah and his sons probably told him, Noah and his sons probably never knew what a brick was. They don't need brick. We used stone. So that mountain right there, we would take that apart and we would make our own stuff with it. They're like, whoa, how did you do that? Well, we had this and we had that and we had this. Like, wow, that's incredible. So now we want to build something. Well, we can't take that mountain apart because we don't know how. We don't have the technology. We don't have the capabilities to move the stone. We can't cut it. We can't scoop it. We can't, right? So we got to figure something else out. Hey, Jocko over here put some mud together and it hardened in the sand, in the sun. If we stack those, we could build something. So from that point on, humanity used bricks because they couldn't use stone anymore. And today we use paper and we use toothpicks, and that's how we build our houses. That's what your house is made of. It's made of toothpicks and paper. And some places will use metal. None of those things will last more than 100 years. Even the metal will corrode if you don't take care of it.
Yeah.
Their stones are still here after arguably 6,000 to 10,000 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They knew what they were doing. That's a tell for me that they lost an ability that they knew humanity once possessed. God saying, if we don't confuse their language,
Right.
they're going to be able to do anything they want.
Yeah.
He's not kidding.
Yeah.
God, I don't think God's like, LOL, JK, Moses.
Yeah.
Put a footnote in there saying that I'm being sarcastic.
Right.
That's not in there.
Yeah.
Why does he say they'll be able to do anything they want to?
Because they could. If they could get to that point.
Because if they accomplish this task, if they finish this tower with its tops in the heavens, and they reconnect to those things in the heavens, guess what we're going to see? Pre-flood world all over again.
Yeah.
Which, guess what? According to God, if his statement's not sarcastic, they're likely able to do anything they wanted.
So you think that that's what's been happening this whole time? That's just they've been the Nephilim, these deities, these beings are just trying to do that same thing again. And do you think that they're doing that with our technology today?
I think they're trying to get us back into that connection with the beings. Okay.
Do you think CERN and all of this is part of those connections? And you think that those connections have already been made?
For sure. I think it's been made at an elite level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think it's been made to the masses yet. I think that's what the alien disclosure stuff is. It's helping, it's catching us up with what the elites have already known for a long, long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually how it happens too. Even with technology, right? We don't get it until like the government had it for a long time. Internet, right, was around.
Of course. And I think what's happening is the beings that have been stranded on other planets and have been recolonizing or have been colonizing those planets, maybe they either want revenge, they either want to conquer, maybe they're resource poor, maybe they've destroyed their planet, maybe they want to come back and take this one, maybe Satan promised them this planet if they can enslave us and make us worship him. Who knows, bro?
Yeah.
Satan likely has been, if he's deceiving us, little farts, the lowest of creation, you don't think that he's been deceiving his own,
right?
His own creations?
Mm-hmm.
The Nephilim were deceived into freaking thinking they were immortal and could live forever. And God's like, I'll send you some rain. Let's see how you fare, you know? But I'm just saying, I think Satan is also using his creations on other planets. I think he's using those to create an army to come and take this planet back. It used to be his. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Before the flood, Satan ruled this world. Even after the flood, he was still the prince of the world, the prince of this earth. When he offered Jesus the world, right? When Jesus was in the wilderness and Satan said, bow down and worship me, I'll give you all the nations of the earth. Jesus wasn't like, they're not yours, dummy.
Right. No,
he said, don't tempt the Lord your God.
Yeah.
You know, this was Satan's domain. This was his territory. Sure. And at one point, bro, he populated it, you know? And ever since then, God's been taking back the nations through the work of Christ. But what it says is Satan at a certain point will be released for a little while to deceive the nations again and to come against the saints in the holy city. That's us, you know? So when I see the old gods and the old beings from before the flood and the ancient gods of the Egyptians and the ancient gods of the Sumerian, when I see those entities appearing to people like Chris Bledsoe, look up Chris Bledsoe Hathor. An Egyptian goddess appears to this guy, Chris Bledsoe, who's all over the internet now. He says she's an alien. She says, I'm Hathor, which was the name of the Egyptian goddess of fertility. So these gods are supposedly making themselves known again. It's as if we're going full circle. We were in this hyper advanced technological era that was divinely altered and manipulated. God wipes it out.
Yeah.
After that, humanity survives and starts to multiply again. And now the gods themselves, the fallen angels, appear to them again, but they don't manipulate anything because they got in trouble last time. Some of them got imprisoned in Tartarus, never to be released again until that great day. Okay. So they don't want to be imprisoned again by manipulating humanity and creating their own version. So what do they do instead? Oh, we'll just take their worship. God suffers regardless. Who cares? You know? So let's just become their gods. They become their gods. That plays itself out for a couple thousand years. Then comes Christ. And he's like, well, here's the solution to that. I'm going to sacrifice myself. I'm going to forgive sins. My gospel will go forward. I'm going to take back the nations. He doesn't do it with the flood. He does it with the gospel.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So God is countering Satan kind of along the way. Sure, this is all part of the plan and God's sovereign and the lamb slain before the foundation of the earth. Sure, I believe that. But Satan implements a strategy. God executes his own. Satan implements another strategy. God executes his own. And we're going to see that again after Satan's released, which I think has already happened. I think the alien stuff is a revamping of an original plan or an original strategy. And when they rise up to come against the saints, what happens? God acts again and he counters it. And it says he rains down fire and stops all of it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the plan, you know? So for me, this whole story is, dude, it's so circular. It's so full. It's bookended, you know? And that's what the alien stuff is to me. It's a repeat of what he did before when he had the nations deceived.
Yeah.
And we will see beings appearing. We will see technologies that we've never fathomed. We will see all sorts of crazy stuff, which was the norm. But we have been so trained to think that like, oh, it's all naturalism. It's just what I could see, feel, touch.
Right.
Evolution, everything out of nothing. It's all just billions of years and chance. There's no concept of supernatural in the mind of man anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was obviously a satanic deception for a while.
Yeah.
Now that humanity has accepted that as reality, now when something supernatural appears, people are going to eat it up. Something supernatural.
Yeah, I totally believe that.
People
Totally
are going
see
to
it.
eat it up. They're going to all the naturalists. They're just going to freaking drink this from the fire hose.
Yeah,
you know. And guess what? Satan wins. In that regard, towards that end, Satan wins. The masses are deceived again. He takes the nations back. He gets their worship again. And somehow that results in the remnant of Christ getting persecuted. The nations rise up against the saints.
It's us, bro.
That is the conclusion of.
Well, there's so much here to talk about, but we do have to end it. I
In
know.
the chat?
No. I'm saying much more to talk about this topic, and there's so much we can go with this. If it's not limitless because God is sovereign and God is in full control of this stuff, but the technology was a lot wilder, and I think it's as good. These discussions are good to prepare us for what's coming, and understanding that it's more than what we just see right now, and there's a lot happening. And don't be scared, you know. But I do think it hinges on who your allegiance is to. I really do believe that. And is Jesus actually your king? And that's what matters most with all of this. But it's this stuff should also grab our attention and make us alert and understand that there is more than just our little world of bills and taxes and relationships and all this stuff. Like there's so much more going on,
Bro.
And that's, I think that's part of the deception, right? Is to keep them asleep, keep people just focused on the stupid shit in our lives instead of, lifting our eyes up and seeing what's actually happening around us. And I hope that this encourages people to do that more and to go home at night or after this and keep thinking about this. Don't just, put this away. This is not just a story or a fairy tale or just, an idea. No, this is in the Bible. Like we're reading this stuff. It's all over the place and it's in the skies now.
I'm definitely reading between the lines and filling in a lot of stuff. Right.
Well, yeah,
but at the same time, I am taking into account what the Bible is saying. I am taking into account the physical evidence, the fact that there are archaeological structures that exist, the fact that there are witnesses that testify to these ships being discovered at archaeological sites. As a Christian, explain that to me, please.
Yeah.
That there are multiple thousands of people describing similar various forms of entities appearing to them or seeing those kinds of entities during their abduction event. As a Christian, explain that to me, please.
Right, but that's the problem. The average Christian in the West can't explain that. It doesn't have anything to say on that because they're looking
it's demons. It's demons.
Yeah, it's just demons, and
maybe not.
And they're not looking, and they're not being curious, they're not using their imagination on when they read the Old Testament, and it's just too hard for them. They just want to skip over it. It really doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter at all of what happened back then. No, it does a lot because we are in that story.
Exactly.
We're in that same story that we're just continued on. Yes, we're in the new covenant with Christ, of course, but that's just who was it that said it doesn't wipe it. It's an addition to that the covenants, right? It's the next covenant, right? I forgot who said that on our show, and I thought that was really helpful to me. But anyway, listen, I gotta go, guys. Sorry to cut this short in Ben's world. Thanks for hanging us for the last 2 hours, guys. Thank you so much for commenting and being with us. Please, if there's something else that comes to mind over the next whatever day or two, we'll get the comments. Send it to us or hit us up on
comment on
IG.
this video.
Or comment on this video. Yeah, we'll get it. And
I was
going to talk about these things.
I was going to ask if you guys think there's anything I can improve on before going on NDS, or if you think there's like a better way for me to like structure it or anything like that. Help a brother out. You know what I mean? I wasn't watching the chat, so I don't know if there's a bunch of stuff.
This is the last one I want to put up here. Listen to UFO Chronicles podcast episode 252. With host Nick Hunter. They sort of did a Christian experience using various biblical idea. We'll see if you're a believer. Ooh, all right, Mark. Thank you, Mark Frey. I'm going to write that. I'm going to check that out too. I'll probably watch that tonight. Listen to it then. Yeah, I'm going to do that for sure, man. Thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you hopefully next week, Tuesday. I'm assuming.
Nice.
If the aliens don't come, or maybe if they do. And we'll take it from there. But yeah, keep commenting, keep showing. Tell us. Maybe we can even add to this if we're missing something, if we missed something. And this is not done. We're gonna continue talking about this until we see aliens, right?
It's gonna happen. Just wait. It's going to happen.
I think so too.
All right, guys. Love
you.
We'll see you guys on the next one.
Have a great night. Bye.